Hello, welcome back. I'm Sage and you're watching Kalkine TV live from Sydney. And this is the last show of the day, the last trade. Let's get started with today's market close commentary. The Australian shares traded flat at the close, pairing the early losses and led by the smart recovery in tech, healthcare and consumer discretionary stocks. And meanwhile, the concerns over the rising COVID-19 cases and fresh curbs dented the market sentiments during the trading session today. And on the sectoral front, the utilities sector emerged as the top loser, falling 1.5%. Among others, energy, A-REIT, financials, telecom, industrials, and also were reeling under the selling pressure. Australian real estate firms were under pressure today after stocks traded ex-dividend, and the real estate investment trust dexus fell as much as 2.8%, marking its worst intraday drop since mid-May, and the stock traded ex-dividend and will pay 23 cents Australian per share for half year ending June 2021. In a similar trend, the property firm Stockland and mall operator Vicinity Centres were also among the top losers. Moving on to the energy space now. The Australian energy stocks traded in the red owing to a fall in the crude oil prices, and oil prices have slipped as rising cases of the COVID-19 Delta variant across the world stoked worries about fuel demand. Oil and gas firm Beach Energy Limited, fuel supplier Viva Energy Group Limited and the Papua New Guinea-focused oil and gas explorer Oil Search Limited were among the top laggards. Whitehaven Coal, Australia's largest independent coal miner, also witnessed the selling pressure. And on this note, let's focus on the shares that are in the news today. Airbnb-for-campers startup Camplify made the stock market debut on Tuesday after successfully raising 11.5 million Australian dollars via the IPO. The stock rose as much as 1.4% to reach $1.42 Australian in an otherwise weak broader market as the coronavirus pandemic-led lockdowns disrupted the domestic travel industry. Founded in 2015, New South Wales-based company received the overwhelming response from investors with its IPO oversubscribing by 4 times, and the firm had lodged its prospectus in May with an offer price of $1.42 per share at an enterprise value of $42.1 million at completion. And moving on now, shares of Regional Express Holdings rose 0.8% to $1.21 Australian after the airline signed a letter of intent to lease 2 more Boeing 737 aircrafts to boost its fledgling jet fleet. As per the company, the 2 aircrafts are expected to arrive in late August, increasing the 737 fleet to 8 and are scheduled to enter the service on Rex's domestic network in September. The Regional Express currently operates 737 services from Melbourne to Sydney, Gold Coast, Adelaide and Canberra, and from Sydney to Gold Coast. The 2 additional aircrafts will provide the company with the ability to launch new routes to other capital cities, large regional centres and popular leisure destinations. Next up is buy now, pay later firm Afterpay remained under the spotlight today. Afterpay shares rose 0.8% to reach $120.25 Australian after the UBS raised its price target on the firm, and this was attributed to the company's decision to expand its services in the US market with virtual cards. Last week, the fintech firm announced to expand its BNPL payment services to some of the largest online brands in the United States, including Amazon, CVS, Dell, Kroger, Macy's, Nike, Sephora, Target, Victoria's Secrets, Walgreens and Yeti. And this move is being seen as a major shift in Afterpay's strategy, which had so far restricted customers to its partner merchants only. And now it's time for a short break, but please stay tuned as I'll be back with more trending updates. Crypto talk by Kalkine. The crypto market has been red hot given the Bitcoin rally since the past year. And now the most famous cryptocurrency has got competitors, Dogecoin and Ethereum. If the crypto market excites you, tune in with me, Sage, to know the latest developments about the existing digital currencies and the new ones that are joining the race. I'll help you understand the opportunities and the risks the crypto market has in store for you. For all the digital currency related developments, continue watching Crypto Talk by Kalkine. Good afternoon, welcome back. Sage here, your host live from the Kalkine studio, and you're watching the Last Trade Show. Let us look at more stocks that created a buzz today. Well, WAM Global LIC also grabbed the headlines today. WAM shares traded flat at $2.57 Australian after the company announced a merger agreement with Franklin Templeton's Global Growth Fund. The development came barely a day after the company's shares made the stock market debut on the ASX. Next up, energy major Santos dropped 0.75% to $71 Australian 19 cents, in line with other energy stocks, which dropped on the falling crude oil prices. The company has announced the launch of the Front-End Engineering and Design, or FEED, for the Dorado project in the Budut sub-basin offshore Western Australia. Dorado is an integrated oil and gas project which is planned to be developed in 2 phases. Phase 1 development involves the production of oil and condensate through a wellhead platform, or a WHP, and floating production storage and offloading facility, or FPSO. And Phase 1 has an estimated gross capital cost of approximately $2 billion. Next, under the radar was the gold and base metals explorer Burgundy Diamond Mines that surged as much as 11% to 30 Australian cents on the business expansion plans. The company, formerly known as EHR Resources, said it has advanced several recent arrangements to expand to downstream operations in the fancy colour diamond sector. And the company said plans for downstream operations include proposed future production of fancy yellow diamonds from the Ellendale project in Western Australia. Moving on now, shares of Bitcoin-related firm Digital X Limited jumped as much as 12% to 5.5 cents as value of its digital asset portfolio increases. And Digital X shared it expects to record a material increase of 8.33 million Australian dollars in the value of its digital asset portfolio following the receipt of digital assets from the Human Protocol Foundation. And the company has also recognised 8.33 million Australian dollars in revenue received in June 2021 relating to advisory services announced in financial year 2019. Next in line is a healthcare share under the investor's lens. Shares of drug developer Nirada Inc. jumped as much as 8.6% to 31.5 cents after the company announced encouraging efficacy results from a preclinical study of its oral inhibitor treatment for high cholesterol, the NIX-PCSK9I, in a specialised mouse model. The company stated that results from the preclinical efficacy study showed that NIX-PCSK9I reduced the total cholesterol by 46% as a monotherapy and 65% when dosed in combination with the statin drug Lipitor over the study period. It further stated that no adverse effects were identified and NIX-PCSK9I was well tolerated. Next up, shares of 4D Medical Limited gained as much as 5.3% to reach $1.23 Australian after the medical technology firm started the clinical trial of patented software. The company stated that it has started the clinical trial of its patented software XV lung ventilation analysis software at the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine in the United States. And lastly, shares of the Core Lithium Limited jumped as much as 5.4% to reach 0.243 Australian dollars per share on Tuesday, and the Lithium Explorer informed that it has co-partnered with global environmental consultants ERM Group for carbon footprint evaluation of Finniss lithium project near Darwin in the Northern Territory. And the last but not least, mall operator Vicinity Centres fell as much as 5% to $1.53 Australian, their biggest intraday percentage loss since the 27th of August 2022. The shares traded ex-dividend. VCX will pay a final dividend of 6.6 cents Australian per share for financial year 2021, compared with no distribution a year ago. And now moving on to the Asian markets, which are trading lower on Tuesday. The Asian markets continue to trade lower after making a weak start on Tuesday as the rising coronavirus cases in the Asia-Pacific region dented the investor sentiment. And Japan's Nikkei plummeted 0.9%, while Singapore's Straits Times dropped nearly 1%. China's Shanghai Composite was down 0.95%. In a similar trend, Seoul's Kospi fell 0.66% and Hong Kong's Hang Seng slipped 0.77%. India's BSE Sensex was down 0.35% in the opening trade, tracking weak cues from the Asian peers. However, bucking the trend, New Zealand's benchmark S&P NZX 50 rose 0.15% and Taiwan's weighted index was up 0.05%. On Monday, Wall Street notched broad gains. The blue chip S&P 500 rose 0.23% and the tech-heavy Nasdaq composite surged 0.98%. The Dow Jones closed 0.44% lower. And thanks for joining us on that report and through the reports of today. That is all for now in the last trade, and Kalkine TV and the team will see you as close as possible to 10:30 a.m. live from Sydney tomorrow morning. Have a good day. Stay safe. Sage signing off.